skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Welcome back to the TGIF Podcast. Thank God it's footy. It's been a pretty rough week for me as a supporter. Yourself, probably also included.
Fairly similar, not the best result-wise, but just good to have some footy back.
Yeah,
some proper footy. I don't really count it when you've got your. It kind of felt like pre-season last weekend. Your two Vegas games still. Obviously, count as round one games, but to have your
round one
weekend,
proper.
Your proper weekend, sort of, filled up with some footy. It was good, but yeah, not the best result wise. You're right. We both had a loss in the league. We obviously Arsenal lost. The Black Caps then go ahead and lose as well. So not the best result wise. Plenty of sport on, and sort of topped it off tonight with a nice little second place down at Twilight and a leg of lamb. So I guess that's the shining light of the sort of that little batch of sport there over the last 7 days or so.
Chuck it in the freezer, you're good to go for Christmas.
Well, we're thinking we're going to cook it up at some stage, and I was going to just try.
Because you've all got hams, yeah.
Well, we've all got lambs, yeah. So it's I think it's what $45 worth of lamb each.
Oh, lamb! I thought it was ham.
No, lamb, yeah, leg of lamb. Ham last time, lamb this time, which is quite nice, eh? So.
Yeah, definitely don't save it till Christmas then.
No. We'll be eating it up fairly soon, I would say. But yeah, that's probably the shining light of my sporting week, I would say. And managing to sort of get the one iron down this evening as well, which was enjoyable. We made an eagle on a par 5 there, thanks to a lovely shot in with the one iron there, about 190 out, and put it to maybe 10 feet, 15 feet.
Shout out the one iron.
Yeah, well and truly. I don't think there would have been anyone else down at Twilight that. We did see one bloke who we thought might have stolen Osh's ball out the back of 15, and we think he might have just gone long. One bloke, I know him from around Devonport, and he's in some sort of like, not a council role, but not like, he's not George Wood, but he's like one of those sort of blokes, he's been like on the Devonport council or something like that. And so I realised, he probably got more than enough money. He wouldn't have been stealing Osh's. I think it was a precept he said that he hit. So I said, it's probably a donation. But he saw the one iron and was talking to me about it, and he thought it was outrageous. So that's probably, that's my highlight of the week, is just managing to bang out a couple of good one irons and, hopefully, change the lay of the golfing world maybe.
Potentially, yeah. We might see a bit of an upswing in one iron take if you can get the word out there in and around Parramatta.
Oh, well and truly.
Might start spreading like wildfire there, We've shouted out here on the pod.
We'll see.
We'll see where it goes to.
But yeah, just
not
good.
A club you often see in a golfer's bag. I'll say that much.
No, I was saying today possibly. I said probably 1 in 500 golfers maybe, but Colin said you're probably looking at more, maybe like 1 in 1,000.
Yeah, I think most, especially younger golfers, probably wouldn't have a one iron.
And even then, I think most older golfers probably going to have a hybrid or a wood.
Exactly, they can't really hit the one iron as strongly.
And let's be honest, most good golfers are smart enough not to have a one iron in their bag.
To be fair, yeah, most good golfers are going driver or wood off a long tee into like a mid iron if they're pulling off a good driver.
I don't think there'll be many out there around the country that
each their own
have a one iron in the bag. I mean, it seemed to be behaving better than the driver most of the time today. So we'll see how we go. I wouldn't mind. One Saturday trying out the old one iron challenge and just
one iron challenge,
how I can go. I think putting wise would be lovely. I think the only time I'm screwed is sort of
mid range shots.
No, I think the bump and run with it would be okay.
I'm talking like your 150s.
Yeah, but that's just a punch, I think, and particularly at the moment, I think you'd be okay. I think it's more your bunkers. You're tough out of luck in the bunkers. Anything where you're sort of having to,
chip it over something.
Get over something. Yeah, I think you're out of luck. We'll have to wait and see if we can try it out one Saturday. But just good to have some proper footy back. We've got a full week this week, a normal Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday batch of footy there for you. And out of the two, the Dragons, they're the ones to kick it off this week. First game there on Saturday, up against the Bunnies. We were talking about it before, obviously. Not interesting start, a fiery start to that game there, the Dragons up against the Doggies. Obviously, both teams were up for it, and there was no love lost, that's for sure. And I messaged you after about maybe 20 minutes in, saying that it was looking all right, and then I think you replied after about 10 or so minutes, and they'd just scored 2 tries. And the game sort of fell away from the Dragons after that.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe 20 minutes in through probably a half an hour period after that, through about 10 minutes after half time. The Doggies were just all over us, really. Anytime they had the ball in good position, they seemed to stroll over through our defence. But yeah, I guess the scoreline makes it not look too bad in the end. 5 tries to 4. I suppose you're looking at it in hindsight. Most, if not all, footy fans out there with half a clue would tip the Doggies to finish above the Dragons this year. So I guess, ideally you want to be starting with a win. You want to be picking up as many as you can. But the Doggies will be a tough team this year, that's for sure. They'll be in and around the finals conversation again. So it's not the end of the world for the Dragons, that's for sure. We saw some good signs down the left-hand side of attack. Obviously, Christian Tuipulotu strolling over for 3 tries. Plenty to say to the Doggies players and fans there.
It was all on.
A couple of interesting celebrations, cashing a few Doggies fans off in the crowd by the looks of things. Or as Willie Mason's saying, possibly a little nudge to St George to up his contract, give him a fresh new deal or something. But Val Holmes had a good game to start. Gutho was all right. He's his usual self, He's always competing hard at the back. Wasn't brilliant, but involved in a lot. Cookie probably didn't hit the ground running like Dragons fans would have hoped, but Jacob Little off the bench showed a bit of spark, so good to have that rotation going. If Flano can get the balance right.
Oh, it's figuring out how much game time you give both of them. I think Little, obviously we spoke about him quite a lot last year. Sort of had that breakout season, I guess. More just was able to have a season where he was actually the main number 9, I guess. Played really well, and there was a bit of talk, with Cookie signing on, how they were going to go about it. And you're right, they sort of came in he came in at the end and sort of changed the game there for the Dragons a little bit and got you back into it.
Yeah, 100%. Lovely little try from him to run almost the length of the field. I guess in a few years we'll probably add a bit of mayo the time Jacob Little ran through 13 blokes. But no, it was a great run, great try from him, but unfortunately didn't do much to alter the scoreline in the end, or the result that was, sorry. And Souths as well, on the other hand. Coming off a win, but probably not looking the most convincing up against a slightly weakened Dolphins side.
They were
old mate Alfred.
Yeah, they were always going to get
up
the
there
win
in Queensland.
Wayne Bennett up against the Finns.
An old side, yeah.
He was always going to go out there and get the win, and with the Finns missing a couple of players, thanks to the old Cyclone over there, and now having to relocate to Sydney, I've seen. Possibly was it the Finns, or was it actually maybe Gold Coast?
Gold Coast, bro.
I realised that as
ground is like underwater.
As I was saying it, I saw
saw
the article in my head and could see that it said Gold Coast. The Bunnies were always going to get a win. They'll be up for this one, I'm sure, though. This game up, obviously, coming in off the back of that win. Dragons now sort of in that pack that we've said we didn't want to be in the chasing right from the start. which is never where you want to be. But yeah, like you said, there was good signs for the Dragons, and particularly down that left side. So I think it'll be an interesting match there to kick us off on Saturday.
Yeah, no, I think it's one. I guess both teams really will be looking at favourably. The Dragons, a good chance to get off the mark against a South side that is missing a few key players. That's for sure. But obviously, with old mate Wayne at the helm, they'll be hoping to get a win over a Dragon side that not many are tipping to do much this year. So yeah, and in one sense, it could be a very good game. On the other hand, it could be a very dull affair if we get lots of errors and a bit of a poo sling fest there. But look, I'll be there. I'll be there Saturday night, tuning in. First game there, as you said, 5 o'clock our time. 3-2 in the Dragons in the last 5 in this matchup, but that does count pre-season fixtures there. So probably don't put too much. Well, actually, it's the same for you guys as well. The same team that we both versed 2 weeks ago in pre-season.
Yep.
Coming up against a win for both our teams there. But yeah, Dragons piling on the points, 46-24, I think it was, in that Charity Shield fixture with the young bloke Finau scoring 4 tries in the first half there before going off with an HIA. But yeah. Overall, it looks pretty good if you're looking at history. 5-3 to the Dragons in the Gong, 18-9 overall at Dragons home grounds. Fairly consistent with that starting 17. Obviously, had to make a change with poor Ryan Couchman suffering an ACL injury within probably a couple of minutes of coming on the field there.
Yeah, it was pretty quick, eh?
Yeah, obviously, as a Dragons fan, it sucks, but never nice to see anyone go off with an ACL there. So that'll be the poor bastard's season and year pretty much written off. But Blake Laurie comes back into the side. I don't know whether he was sort of looked over or maybe had a little bit of a niggle coming into that first round clash. But he's back on the bench. Plenty of experience for the Dragons there. And a couple of big ones for South. Jackie Whiten, obviously out, and Tyrone Munro as well. So a couple of youngsters, yeah. I think there's a debutant even potentially for them on the wing there. So Souths, they're coming in. What's that? No Murray, no Latrell, no Whiten. It'll all be on Cody Walker's shoulders. Although it's still going to be tough for the Dragons, I think.
Yeah, it'll be
it's not going to be an easy one.
No, it'll definitely be a tough one. Like I said, Bunnies coming in with that win there from last week, and although missing a couple of players there, coming in with that little bit of form. Wayne Bennett at the helm, also up against one of his old teams.
Yeah, obviously a bit, maybe not as much storyline around this one, obviously, compared to his leaving the Dolphins last year to go to Souths, that being their first matchup. But you're right, it is another one of Wayne's old teams, so he'll be hoping to get one up over them. Yeah, look, fairly confident, but again, it's never a sure thing when Souths have a player like Cody Walker. He can rip us apart fairly easily. Judging by some of those signs that we saw from the Dragons up against the Doggies at some stages during that one there. But yeah, that'll kick off your Saturday, hopefully with a Dragons win for my sake. We'll get into another couple of pointless games on Saturday night there to sort of fill it out. But then come Sunday afternoon, 6:15, I believe, was kickoff. Maybe 6:05.
I think quarter past.
Quarter past,
right there.
We'll be getting into the Tigers. They're off to their favourite ground, Bank West, there to take on the Parramatta Eels side what did I say? Bank West.
Bank West.
Yeah, that's what it used to be called. Now it's called
Yeah.
Commbank.
Yeah, up against this very, very weak looking Parasite. Also coming now off the back of Dylan Brown's departure there for next year off to the Knights. But yeah, they got absolutely pumped by the Storm. I think probably the performance of the round, I'd say Melbourne, the way that they played, they just sort of ran through them. Whereas, yeah, my Tigers fucking fallen short. As I said to you, I don't think we deserved to lose, but we definitely didn't deserve to win.
Yeah.
We couldn't finish anything off, and we missed over 50 tackles. So
Yeah, I don't think any side that misses over 50 tackles, as you said, deserves to win. But it was a tight one. The Tigers never really out of the game at all. Obviously leading for a good chunk of that one as well. But Kalen Ponga, he had other ideas on the night. I thought he was outstanding. Him and Terrell May, best players on the park. Those two there. Obviously May in not as influential of a position, but certainly pumping out the numbers.
Change the sort of the vibe of the forward pack there. I don't know if that's really the right word, but yeah, we just had a different looking go forward, which was awesome to see.
Yeah, good from Terrell May, but yeah, it was I don't know, also a bit clunky. Obviously, the first time Luai and Galvin had run out together in a game. Pre-season possibly slightly interrupted with Luai's possible late arrival, and also, yeah, I guess getting that injury towards the end of pre-season there, he didn't get a run out in the actual pre-season fixtures. So yeah, I can probably forgive them for being clunky. Give them a few weeks to really form that combination. But yeah, Galvin, can't say it was his best performance I've ever seen out of Luai.
I just think every time Luai got the ball, he gave it to Galvin. He looked for Galvin, and more often than not, he wasn't in a position to receive it. He put boot to ball probably more often than he needed to, and every time he did put in a kick, it was fairly shit. Obviously, the game sort of turned off that kick that Luai put in that failed, and then they went on to score. And I think that's sort of where the game sort of turned for us. But it was just a complete game of two halves. First half we played unreal, and it was a different looking Tigers team. And then the second half it was like the last sort of 3 years. But we were probably destined to lose. Second tackle of the game, going in with a high tackle. I should have probably picked up on that right from the start. That getting penalised after 24 seconds on the clock or something like that is never going to be very good. A very tigerish thing to do, but I think we're going to be fair, way more confident.
Yeah, to be fair, in the last couple of years, would you have missed 50 tackles?
Oh,
you might be looking at more of a 40 points to 8.
I think we lost 50 tackles because everyone was so fired up. We had people just sort of flying in there,
emotionally charged.
Fainu must have missed a few. I actually saw a thing that got released. I think Jarrell Skelton missed 4 and didn't make a tackle.
Okay.
So we had some players like that. I think Terrell maybe made 36 of 36 or something like that. So he led the way clearly. But I think we're going to this game up against a pretty weak-looking Parasite.
Yeah, definitely.
Far more confident.
Definitely shot in confidence of Parramatta after that smoking at the hands of Melbourne. You said Melbourne looked really good. I thought Parramatta equally didn't look up to it. Yeah, don't know what it was really. Missing a couple of leaders obviously out there. The news around Dylan Brown obviously hadn't been announced, but it was a huge talking point throughout the week whether a couple of the boys were possibly distracted, minds elsewhere. You never know, but it does tend to happen when there's drama in and around the club. Their performances tend to dip. So yeah, possibly a really good time to come up against Parramatta. I can't remember if I don't believe Moses is back in for this one. I think he's still out with that injury that plagued him for that first round there. So a good time to take them on. You've come up with a couple of wins over Para in the last couple of years, a couple of good ones there.
I think the big one, though, was obviously the Spoon Bowl there last year where we lost.
Yep.
I think that probably goes down as a very notable one there in Para's favour.
Para's favour, yeah.
Yeah, but then also, obviously, like you said, a couple of weeks ago, we came up against Para as well and managed to get the win there in pre-season and another win there last season. Earlier on, I think round 4, round 5.
Yeah, 17-16, I think it was.
It might have actually been a little bit later. I think it was our first win of the season.
Around 9 or 10, maybe.
Yeah, and then sort of, I think, sparked another, we had a 2-game winning streak, I'm pretty sure. And then I think we must have lost a few more on the trot. But, I definitely think we go into this one far more confident and, hopefully, able to put aside that second half from last week, tighten up a little bit on defence. We've got a couple of players coming back into the side. Uppy, obviously, I think the main one there, sort of just a little bit more solidity. And then you can have Silva coming in sort of off the bench, bringing a little bit of a spark. And then Tor and Buller going into that back line as well. So we've seen Mason and Fa'atape both drop out as well as Hope there. But we've now got what I think is probably our strongest 17 going out there.
Look, obviously you want Jareen Buller and Api Coruscant at the 9 there. I suppose there's probably a few different centres combinations you could be throwing out there at the moment.
Dewey and Tor.
But a couple of injuries probably means that Dewey and Toa is just about as good as it gets for you guys.
As well, to be fair. We haven't really seen much of what we've seen of Naden over the years since he's come to the Tigers. I'd start Tor over him, and I'd start him over Fa'atape as well, I'd say. So I'd say that's probably our strongest.
Yep,
I'd
go with that. I'll give you that one. Certainly a strong looking forward pack compared to years gone by for the Tigers there. Be good to see them, get some front foot ball, see what Appy can do off the back of it. Mitchell Moses obviously still missing for Parramatta, but they do have Sean Lane come back into the side. Also, I believe rocking a debutant on the wing as well. Can't remember the bloke's name, but rocking a debutant there with Adokar, I think potentially still banned. I don't know. Was it just maybe a 1-game ban that he copped off the back of the old scandal off the back of last season?
I'm not too sure. We'd have to have a look into that one. But yeah, obviously, a couple of the young blokes there getting a run out this weekend for a couple of teams. Teams still figuring out what their best 13 is that they're after. But they're your two main games.
Games of the round, for sure.
2 main games for the weekend. They're the 2 ones to watch out for. And hopefully we'll see a little bit of movement up the ladder from both of those 2 teams there. Now, in the world of the round ball, a trip to Old Trafford is never somewhere that is never something that Arsenal have really looked at too fondly. And I sort of said at the moment it's probably one of those situations where you can just go there and bank on the 3 points. But unfortunately, when you've got a team with nobody that can score a goal, it's going to be bloody hard, particularly when what were we, 11? Was it an extra step and a half we were? We were marched back for the wall, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was like 11 and a half.
Which I think is I mean, fuck, like, you can't at the end of the day put blame on that. I think Bruno probably could have put him a metre forward and Bruno probably still would have been able to score it. He's a great free kicker. So I think we need to be putting more onus on us not doing our job in a game like that up against what is definitely a mid-table team.
Yeah, look, I mean, fantastic strike from Bruno, and they did offer a little bit going forward. Certainly not the team, the Man United team of years gone by. But yeah, look, all credit to them. They defended astutely. Heaven came on and did his thing there at the back. Aiden Heaven
looked really good.
Yeah, young Heaven definitely looked pretty handy out there. So I guess we do have plenty of strength and depth in the defensive ranks, but yeah, look, maybe one in a couple of years time that we might say slip through the cracks.
No doubt,
and we'll be regretting letting him go on.
Letting him go. Him and Cheeto Obi could turn out to be very, very good players.
Heartbreakers for Arsenal.
Yeah, particularly when you think about the amount of goals that he scored for Arsenal, Cheeto, and could have very much used that at the moment there. But yeah, it's a pretty lackluster performance all round, really.
Yeah, look,
a Declan Rice strike there to nab a point.
Yeah, it was a great goal from Rice. A couple of other decent chances that we probably would have hoped to do a bit more with. Trossard scuffing a few shots there. Yeah, just the usual Arsenal trying to create that perfect goal a couple too many times. But yeah, ironic to say we don't have a goal scorer when we had 6 different goal scorers just a few days before that, but couldn't find any of that form upon the trip to Manchester there. But we face PSV again on Thursday morning and what seems like pretty much a pointless game.
It's a very much a dead rubber. I wonder if we see some rotation. We don't really have the players to rotate at the moment. I think the front
we
three...
don't really have the players to rotate, and you just want to keep
same.
the momentum going with a few of these blokes.
But we might see one of those, like, is it Cabia? Is he the young forward we've got on the bench? Or is he a defender? It's not Butler or Yeji. We've had someone else.
Okay.
That's been sort of named up there as like as an attacker, I believe. So do you maybe see someone like Waneri, who's still super young, rested for a game? Do we see like a Tierney probably given a start or someone like that? In a game like this, I believe Neto will play. I'd say. I don't see the need to play Raya.
Nah, I mean, obviously, the only argument is just to keep that momentum going. But there's still plenty of football to play that he can afford to have a game with his feet up on the bench.
Only focus though. Now,
that's the thing, yeah.
But we're not going to lose a 6-goal deficit. But you do need to look ahead to make sure that we can manage the workload and not get any injuries and things like that. And then a trip to Chelsea, or do we welcome them to us this weekend? Either way,
I believe we host them.
It's not a game that another team that we have fared well with. In recent times, well, in my history of watching Arsenal Chelsea games, they always seem to bloody beat us. So, it's probably the scenario where you do need to do a little bit of rotation, even though we are quarterfinals now. Is this quarterfinal round of 16?
This is round of 16.
But we're pretty much banked in that spot there in the quarters. So you probably do need to be thinking, like you said, a little bit of momentum and just trying to keep the lads raring to go.
100%, yeah. If we can find someone that can find a little bit of goal scoring form, we need to keep that and hold on to it as best we can.
So we've got to start Rice then.
Martinelli, he's back. It's a good sign. Obviously, another forward back into the mix.
Missed the sitter though when
did miss the sitter
offside. But still missed an absolute shocker
right at the end. If he would have stayed onside and put that one home, it would have been a very different story. But Chelsea following PSV there on Monday morning, as you said. They've come back from a little blip in their form. 3 wins on the bounce after 3 successive losses there. I think even maybe 4 successive losses for Chelsea there. But
Cole Palmer struggling to get involved.
He's struggling at the moment, having a little bit of a blip in his form. And as you said, not looking like the same team. They've fallen well and truly out of their top 4 spot that they were looking so promising for early in the season when City were going poorly, but City seem to have made that ground up and some more. So looking unlikely for Chelsea unless they can start pulling off a few more wins. And yeah, although you said over our lifetimes they seem to beat us a lot, we have had the edge in the last 10 outings over Chelsea with 7 wins, 2 draws and a loss there. But those 2 draws do come in the past, like 3 or 4 fixtures, I believe, including earlier this season.
I'm thinking back to the days of
the
Drogba.
2000s, late 2000s,
Alex scoring free kicks against us.
2010.
I'm thinking Chelsea conceding 15 in a season sort of scenario. Jose Mourinho, Chelsea.
Drogba 11 goals and fucking like 9
just
appearances
outrageous,
against Arsenal.
outrageous stats, really. But yeah, fingers crossed. A good win there in the Champions League and a good win there on Monday. And follow in suit, hopefully, of the one and only Luke Lenoke, who at the moment, Darting World is well and truly his. He is on, I believe, 14, I think it must be, a 14-game winning streak. Having won last weekend's UK Open, winning night 5 there of the Premier League on Friday morning our time, and then taking home for the second year in a row. I don't know if it's the first trophy that on the PDC Tour that he's maybe defended. I'm not too sure I can't remember if he won in Dubai or not earlier this year. Dubai, Bahrain.
No, he didn't. Didn't Dobie win that?
In Bahrain?
Not Dobie, sorry, Bunting.
Possibly, yeah. But yeah, 14 games unbeaten. I think that must be his first trophy then that he's defended. And is just winning everything at the moment. It was James Wade in the final last weekend, who he also took out in the semis, just been. Who did he have in the final? Nathan Aspinall, I think it was, and someone threw a pint of beer at him when they were walking on.
Aspinall.
And it was kind of saying like, fuck, like, I get that people like me, but you can't go and fucking do that sort of shit, you know what I mean? It's not like, you've got no reason to, particularly someone like Aspinall, you've got no reason to hate. It's just that people love Littler that much that they just go crazy, you know, like, and then who did he beat in the final on the weekend? Mike De Decker, who a lot of people were saying after he won something last year. What did he win last year? One of the big majors that he should have been in the Premier League. And we've seen obviously Bunting after having a good season, yet to win a match in the Premier League in 5 nights. Played well over the weekend, and I think actually beat a couple of Premier League players, but just can't seem to do it on the big stage. I believe they have a weekend off this weekend. There might be some Pro Tour events, and we might see Hopes involved a little bit. But we do have Premier League this Friday. I don't actually have a King of the Oche for you. I think maybe with them having a little week off in regards to no events, I might have a week off on the King of the Oche and hope that it sparks something for me, because I seem to be losing first match sort of scenarios here, or having like picking the winners and then like, having that someone lose 6-2, but they've checked out 148 or something like that, and there's no way that I'm going to get it. So a week off there for me, a week off for the PDC over the weekend, but they will still have night 6 there this weekend. I guess another slightly weird, I mean, we've spoke about the one iron earlier on, and slightly weird darting news. I have managed to snag myself a Quadro dartboard, the old Harrows dartboards from the 90s that had a quadruple ring further inside. Very weird. It must be a very hard thing to make dartboards. It looks a bit wonky, and I haven't put it on my stand very straight. It's slightly off, and I can tell. But I've just tried to move the numbers a bit, because then if I just look at the numbers, it looks like it's a bit straighter. Very hard to get anywhere close to a 240. I think the best score that I may have had so far was possibly a 180, but a quadruple, and a single, I think it was. Or it might have just been even like a 1-6 5, possibly something like that. Two quadruples. But yeah, very, 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 very tough to do. So maybe that's my goal for this year: get a few 240s and pump some 1-irons, and become that sort of niche novelty sportsman. Maybe that's the way to go. Probably wraps. Potentially, but probably a good thing to sign off there. It wraps us up for another week. So as always, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Get involved in your socials. Give us a like. Give us a 5-star. Get subscribed. Enjoy your week ahead. Enjoy whatever sport you may be getting involved with. If you're having a punt, do it responsibly, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. We'll see you then.
Ciao.
Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett